Hare Krishna. We'll start with the invocation prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. Before we begin our discussion, last week many devotees did services at the Toronto temple and they had some practical learnings. So those who were personally present, request if you can please share what all did you learn for the benefit of rest of the devotees who are physically far away. Quickly, everybody. We have Mansi, Monarch, Paulomi, at least, who were there. What did you learn? Pratyush also, yes, Pratyush. Pratyush Prabhu, yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. That day was my first day of doing seva. So I will say it's one of the most beautiful experiences I've had in my life so far. The first thing, I went there and I saw the kitchen. Prabhuji gave me the apron and the headgear, and I saw everyone working, very well together. It's my first time doing a seva like that. Uh, Mostly I go to the temple on Sundays for the Sunday feast. Now to see what actually goes behind making the food, the connections, the conversations, the devotion of the people who are actually making the food. It's really, really incredible. Second thing, I would like to thank Prabhuji also for guiding me and all of us while making the food. I remember while we were sitting down and having prasadam, Prabhuji asked everyone if he was being extra harsh today. And then everyone was like, yes. But then Prabhuji explained that he was not being harsh. He was just being more, he just wants everyone to do their tasks properly because it was a big feast. And he gave the example of Prabhupada doing the same when publishing the Bhagavatam, that you have to be demanding, and for that you need to be a bit hard to make sure the arrangements happen properly. Uh, so overall, I will say it is one of my best experiences I've had in my life, and I would for sure do more sevas in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, very good, sir. Yeah, so learning was about anger. That I was getting everybody pushed because we were running behind and things need to happen on time. So that is not anger. Anger is that when the person is out of control, does not know what he's talking. No, I was completely normal. Yes, I was pushing everyone, but I was not angry because I was very much conscious of asking, this needs to happen now, this needs to happen now. So this is the difference between anger and working in a fast pace under the mode of goodness, that you are in control. If anger is in control, then you don't know what you are talking. All right, very good. Thank you. And thank you for your desire to do more services. Monarch Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So as usual, it's a very good experience serving with devotee. And I just want to mention two learnings. One is I couldn't recollect the exact verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, but it says that if someone is serving to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, then one must follow rules and regulations. And if not, then Krishna won't accept that boga. And second thing is regarding the attention. So Prabhu asked me
Yeah,
to
so hold
recite
on.
the.
Yeah, hold on. So let me give you the verse for everybody's reference, and then you can come to the second point. So this is 4.13.28. I'm also going by memory. I think it's the verse where it says that seva aparadh, that when we do offenses while doing services, well, then Shri Radha Krishna are not accepting our services. And if you are going to the temple to purify yourself by doing services, and if you are doing offenses, well, then what's the point of services, right? It's creating negativity in you, meaning by offenses you are getting the negative results. Then what's the point of doing services? Therefore, we have to do services properly. And Pratish Prabhu correctly pointed out about cooperation, that yes, everybody was working cooperatively. But then we also have to follow rules and regulations properly, not manufacture our own rules, because temple kitchen is an extension of temple altar. So we have to be very, very careful in what we do, what we don't do. And one devotee who was also doing services, somebody else told this devotee to walk from behind the altar. Well, that is not allowed unless you are pujari and you have proper attire. And then this devotee says, well, I was just following, somebody told me to do this. Well, then you have to first judge whether that devotee is following the standards. So if somebody is not following the standards and is giving instructions which are also not proper standards, well, then the result is on you. The negative result is on you. So we have to be very, very careful for not doing offenses. First, we have to learn and the proper process, and then also not do the uh, offenses. Okay, very good. Monarch Prabhu, continue.
Hare Krishna. The regard second point is regarding the attention. So Prabhu asked us to recite the verses, key memorization verses, while doing the service. But somehow after 3 minutes, like we forgot, and then Prabhu asked us that is Krishna is the center. So the answer is no. So this is regarding the attention.
Yeah, so very good about the attention point. I request all of you to judge for yourself your attention span. Our bottom line goal is to be able to fix our mind on Krishna. So judge for yourself. Do you have attention span on yourself? And those of you who came for services, I asked all of you to thank Dwarkanath. How many of you thank Dwarkanath for keeping the prasadam and making the amazing prasadam? How many of you thank Dwarkanath? Mansi, Monarch, Polomi, Pratyush.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you asked us to thank him, but I guess we forgot later on.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
Prabhuji, forgot. It's very bad
yeah,
attention span. Sorry.
yeah, this is your attention span. So everybody become cautious for yourself. And all of you check your messages. Monarch Prabhu also, the messages from me and the various groups that you are in, that I asked what Monarch Prabhu pointed out about having Krishna in the center. And I gave some practical examples that devotees who are here locally, I asked a simple response from them whether or not you will come for services. I need a response from all. And devotees don't even bother saying no. How hard it is to say no. I'm not forcing anyone. So there are other devotees locally from the Toronto temple, virtually present here. They don't even respond. No. And you are thinking you have Krishna in the center? Those locally devotees want to provide your response. So devotees, watch your messages from me. And there are so many of you who have received messages who have never responded to me. Are Baba, how are you trying to develop a relationship here? Is that how you work in the material world? So if you are not at material world standards, how can you come to spiritual standards? So it is not material standards are different and then spiritual standards are different. No, spiritual standards means that you have already properly maintained the material world standards and now you are advancing to spiritual standards. But if you are not at material world standards of responding, isn't that a route that you don't even respond to somebody's messages? And you are calling yourself or attempting yourself to be on spiritual standards? Silence, I ask some of you to speak. Silence now.
Hey Krishna, I wasn't sure. I was going to come. I'm going to come to the temple, but I wasn't sure if I could come to the service in the kitchen. So I was doing some other services, so I couldn't
So how
reply.
hard it is for you to let me know that this is your situation? Rather than staying silent, how does that help me? How do you expect me to manage the services and engage you in services? Is that what you do in the material world, that somebody sends you a message and you let it go?
Yeah,
Right?
next time
So
I'll reply next because I wasn't sure. I wanted to come, but I wasn't sure whether I could make it or no. So that's the reason.
yeah, so we have Malti also present here. So Malti responded that, and she responded right away that most likely I am not going to come, but if something changes, I will let you know. So that's a proper etiquette, right? So we are trying to be devotees, and devotees, as devotees, we are supposed to maintain material world standards also. So judge for yourself. Many of you have received messages from me for which you have not even cared to respond. So look your messages, that you are so swamped in the material world that you don't even care. You are, yeah, this guy. Again, another message. Yeah, this guy. All right. Um, let's discuss chapter 11 from where we left off. So what you are going to see and hear today is going to amaze you, and you are bound to be awestruck today. So what's the key point we learned about universal form at our last class? And what's the another key learning we learned at our last class? Somebody quickly raise your hand so I will let you unmute. What's the key learning about universal form? Somnima?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Universal form, devotees are not much interested in knowing the universal form, and they should not uh, tie themselves in trying to understand the universal form a lot.
All right.
And
Very
Prabhupada
good.
also has zero lecture on this particular
Thank you.
lesson.
Yeah, very good. Universal form is not important. Very good. Pratyush Prabhu.
Prabhuji, also another important point was humility begs and waits, and pride demands and complains.
Very good.
Basically
You will have an
means
opportunity to practice this because what you are going to see and hear today is you are going to get amazed, and whatever you will ask, my response is going to be universal form is not important. All right, Monarch Prabhu, last point.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, universal form is not existing eternally in the spiritual world. It's the temporary form.
Okay, very good. Very good. So we will continue discussion on universal form, and today I will then also answer the various inquiries that you all have submitted. So you are definitely bound to get overwhelmed or amazed exactly as Arjuna was overwhelmed and awestruck. Because I'm going to show you something similar to what Arjuna saw on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And we discussed at great length, and to all your points, my response is going to be whatever you will ask after seeing what we'll discuss today, my response is going to be universal form is not important for a devotee because you cannot have a loving reciprocation with a ghastly universal form. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada makes a bold statement that universal form display is godless display of opulences. So Arjuna demonstrates humility by asking Krishna that, yes, Krishna, it is possible for you to show the universal form. There's no doubt about it. But Arjuna request humbly that Krishna, if you think I am qualified to see the universal form, then please show me the universal form. So many of you correctly pointed out that humility begs and waits while pride demands and complains. So we discussed that universal form has been shown 9 times that we are aware of, which is 6 plus 3 times. That 6 times only the space aspect was shown, and 3 times the entire universal form, including space and the Kala Rupa, has been shown. The Kala Rupa means the entire universal form, including space and Kala Rupa, was shown for the first time to Arjuna at the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Therefore, Krishna says in 11.6 that no one has seen this universal form before. The universal form's space aspect only was shown before Bhagavad Gita's complete universal form, which included the Kala Rupa. So we are on verse number 9. So from verse number 9 to 14 is section 3. Title is Sanjaya's description of the universal form. So Ria will read verses 9 to 14 translations.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 9. Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Text 10 and 11. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Text 12. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Text 13. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Text 14. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and, with folded hands, began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Very good. We'll go to verse number 12, and Janisha will read the purport for verse number 12.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Text 12. What Arjuna saw was indescribable, yet Sanjay is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjay nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjay, by the grace of Vyasa, could see whatever happened. Thus, he now compares the situation, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomenon, thousands of suns. Hare Krishna.
So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that this is indescribable, means the universal form is indescribable, and Sanjaya is trying to describe for ordinary people to understand. Therefore, he says, as if thousands of suns have arisen at the same time. So words are inadequate to describe spiritual vision. We use material world examples that we know so that from the known we can know the unknown. Now, this does not mean that words are useless. Rather, what it means is that the reach of the words is not as much as the reach of the scope of the experience. Means the vision and experience are so extraordinary that words cannot reach them. So the words that Sanjaya is using are pointers. They are not describers. Rather, they are pointers. Therefore, he is saying as if thousands of suns have arisen at the same time. Because he cannot really describe the exact what he is explaining. And for somebody who has not seen the universal form, for him to make sense, therefore, what Sanjay is describing are all pointers. And it's not just what Sanjay is describing, it's for all spiritual matters, whatever we describe, they are pointers, they are not exact descriptions. So just as we say that Krishna is always youthful and has a bluish blackish complexion like a rain cloud, so these mental images that we have are pointers to how the Supreme Personality of Godhead looks like. I have not seen Krishna personally, so I cannot exactly know how he looks. So we have these pointers that he looks something like this. Supreme Personality of Godhead is perceived only when he reveals himself. When we try to meditate on scriptural description of how Supreme Personality of Godhead is, it is not that that description itself will invoke the Supreme Lord. So the words that we use to glorify the Lord, they are inadequate to glorify the glories of the Lord. But that does not mean that we should not glorify. No, we should still glorify the Lord as much as we can, as much as our words we use to glorify, with the understanding that our words are not capable to glorify the Lord to his fullest extent. We are just using whatever our ability is, whatever uh, words we can use. We are just using to the best of our ability. But Lord's glorification is much more than what our words can glorify. Still, for his pleasure as well as for our purification and for communicating to people in the material world about the glories of the Lord, we still glorify the Lord. All right. Next is section 4, verses 15 to 31. Title is Arjuna's description of the universal form. So first, Krishna gave a brief description of the universal form as an orientation so that Arjuna can make sense. Then Sanjaya gave little more description, and now Arjuna's description is the most detailed description of the universal form. When Arjuna sees the universal form, Arjuna becomes overwhelmed and Arjuna starts describing the universal form. This is the most detailed description of the universal form, which does not exist in any other religious scriptures on the material world. So this section 4 of Arjuna's description of the universal form is divided into 5 subsections, or you can say they are 5 topics, either way. So verses 15 to 20 is the vision of the universe and the universal form. Verses 20 to 23 is effect of the universal form on the universe. Verses 23 to 25 is effect on Arjuna. Verses 26 to 30 is vision of the battlefield. And the 5th subsection is verse number 31 alone. Title is Arjuna's question. Who are you? So I am going to show you a 2-dimensional as well as a 3-dimensional view of what we will be reading as well as what Arjuna saw, just for understanding. Don't get enamored with what you are about to see, because universal form is not important for a devotee. So practice humility and tolerance. This is your test today. So Arjuna is going to see from top of the universe, where Brahmaji is sitting at the top on Brahmaloka. So have a mental picture of what I'm describing and what we are reading. Drop everything. Don't worry about taking notes today. Focus on what I am speaking and what I am showing, and focus on reading the verses, what it's describing. So Arjuna is going to see the top of the universe, that Brahmaji is sitting on the top of the universe. And Arjuna is also going to see at the bottom of the universe that Anant Shesh is holding the universe. So I have this image on the screen of one universe. So you see each universe is a bubble like this, and Anant Shesh, which is Lord Balram's original form, Anant Shesh has infinite hoods, and each of the universe is held on top of Anant Shesh. So you are seeing on the screen that Anant Shesh is holding the universe, and at the top you are seeing Brahmaji. So Arjuna is going to see this entire universe within the universal form of the Lord. And this is what the verses will also describe. So Samma will read verses 15 to 20 translation and follow the visual on the screen.
Verse 15, Arjuna said, My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all sages and divine serpents. 16, O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. 17. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. 18. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. 19. You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and the moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. 20. Although you are the one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed.
So follow on the screen. So this is one universe. One universe, and all the bubbles you see in the background, um, they are all the infinite universes, and each universe is held on Ananta Shesh. So the universe is 14 planetary systems. In middle here, although it's very small to see, it says you are here. This is Earth. This is the seventh plate. So all the planets that we know of, such as Mars, Venus, Jupiter, etc., they are all on this seventh plate. There are these plates above. Each of these plates also have infinite planets. And then there are hellish planets at the bottom. I had also shown you the entire creation visual, that initially there was only Krishna existing. From Krishna comes Lord Balram. From Lord Balram comes the first quadruple expansion of first Vasudev, first Sankarshan, first Pradyumna, first Anirudh. From this first Sankarshan comes Lord Narayan. From Lord Narayan comes the second quadruple expansion of second Vasudev, second Sankarshan, second Pradyumna, second Anirudh. And you have color coded. The one in pink is Goloka Vrindavan. and the one in blue is Vaikuntha. I'm going to show you side by side the creation also. And this is all spiritual world. Then you have Brahma Jyoti, which is the dividing line between spiritual world and material world. Below Brahma Jyoti is the material universes. So from second Sankarshan comes Mahavishnu or Karnodakshay Vishnu. So all these bubbles emanating, I had shown you a bigger image last time. All these bubbles emanating from Mahavishnu are all the infinite universes. From Mahavishnu comes Garbhodakshay Vishnu. From Garbhodakshay's navel, a lotus flower sprouts, and on that lotus flower, Brahmaji takes birth. From Garbhodakshay Vishnu comes Paramatma or the Shirodakshay Vishnu, which is the Shirodakshay Vishnu is the Paramatma expansion within all of us. From Garbhodakshay Vishnu, this is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, from Garbhodakshay Vishnu also manifests the universal form. Srimad Bhagavatam has detailed description of a step-by-step process of how the universal form gets manifested. Each of his organs, everything is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. Now, I had shown you this visual earlier also on the right side that you have, which is the entire creation. That at the bottom, you have universe, one universe, and all these bubbles, and then you have Mahavishnu, all these bubbles coming from Mahavishnu. Then this is the dividing line. This is blue is Vaikuntha planet, and planets, not one planet. There are infinite planets in Vaikuntha, and the pink is Goloka Vrindavan. So I'm going to show you side by side comparison to what I'm referring to. So you can see side by side that at the bottom is material universes where you have Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Shirodakshay Vishnu, as well as the universal form for each universe. Then you have Karnodakshay Vishnu or Mahavishnu, from whom all these infinite bubbles or infinite universes are manifesting. Then there is this Brahma Jyoti. So Brahma Jyoti, although on the visual I have it just as a single line, actually it's a very big space, and there are a lot of infinite planets at Brahma Jyoti. So if you recall from Yoga Ladder, that all those Gyan yogis, they attain Brahma Jyoti, and all the demons who are killed by the Vishnu form of Krishna, they also attain Brahma Jyoti. Although those who follow Karma Yoga can also attain, but why would they want to attain the lower realization of Brahma Jyoti or Brahman effulgence? Now here, pay close attention that this planet in the middle is half glowing, half dark. So this is the planet of Sadashiva, not the Shiva of material world. Rather, it's Sadashiva. Therefore, you can see that half planet is in the spiritual world and half planet is in the material world. Therefore, half planet is glowing and half planet is dark because material world is a dark place. Then comes Vaikuntha. There are a lot of planets. I've shown this to you earlier also and explained. This Vaikuntha is lot of planets where all the eternal forms of Vishnu or various other incarnations, they reside in this Vaikuntha spiritual worlds. And then on top is Goloka Vrindavan. Also, there are a lot of planets in Goloka Vrindavan also. So take a snapshot of what you have. So this is entire existence that I am talking about. So I showed you this. This is one universe. So I showed you all those bubbles. This is one universe where Garbhodaksha is there. From his navel, a lotus sprouts, and Brahmaji is on top of Brahmaloka. And you see all these colors? These are different layers, such as earth, water, fire. There are 7 layers. Each layer is, I can't remember the count. Is it 10,000 times or 100,000 times of the previous layer? I will double check from Bhagavatam. They are the coverings of the universe. And I also showed you this other visual where Anant Shesh is holding the universe, and Arjuna is going to see this entire view based on the access that Krishna has granted Arjuna to see. So what Arjuna saw, you are also about to see right now at this next slide.
So at the bottom of the planetary display, we have Shesha holding up the earth. This is Shesh, the empowered incarnation. There we have Ananta speaking Bhagavatam to the 4 Kumaras, and above the 7 subterranean planets. Here we can see Jambudvip, the central island of Bhumandala, and Bharatvarsha is situated on the southern side of that. 8 other varshas with Ilavrita Varsha in the center, various supporting mountains with large trees upon them described in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the very center of Ilavrita Varsha is Mount Meru, a golden mountain. Atop Mount Meru are the cities of important demigods, Lord Brahma in the center, the 8 Dikpalas in the cardinal directions and sub-directions. Moving out, we can see the broader Bhumandala, 7 concentric islands and oceans surrounding them. The 7th of these islands is Pushkaradweep. On that island is Manasotra mountain, and on the mountain there's various cities of demigods such as Indra. Out further is Loka Loka mountain. These large elephants stand atop Loka Loka mountain to balance Bhumandala. Outside of Loka Loka mountain is Aloka Varsha, which is dark. The rays of the sun and the other luminaries extend up to Loka Loka mountain. On Manasotra mountain here on Pushkaradweep, the sun travels above this mountain at the southernmost point of its annual orbit. Above Bhumandala is Bhuvarloka, which is the residence of the Charanas, Siddhas, Yakshas, Gandharvas, and above there is Swargaloka, beginning from the sun and extending up to the pole star Dhruvaloka. This is the moving part of the planetary display. Here we can see the sun and the moon moving in their chariots. The chariots are being drawn by horses moving in the anti-clockwise direction, but they're traveling with the wheel of time moving in the clockwise direction faster, so it looks as if they're moving backwards. Above them are the zodiac of stars, more planets, and another realm of stars. So here we can see everything moving with the Kala Chakra, circumambulating the axis that connects Mount Meru with Dhruvaloka. Above these planets, we come to the planet of the 7 sages, the Saptarshi. You can see them here, they're commonly known as the Big Dipper, and then Dhruvaloka, the pole star. On the ocean of milk situated there, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Paramatma within everyone's heart, he resides on Ananta Shesh. Moving up beyond there we have Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. In this video we haven't included many of the details for there, but on Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka. We have residences of the Lord, such as Lord Varaha, Lord Vamana, and so on. Here's Brahmaloka, and on Brahmaloka, we also have a form of the Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu as the Sahasrashesha Purush. Beyond there is the 7 coverings of the universe, earth, water, fire, etc. And outside of the universes is the abode of Lord Shiva, Shiva Loka. There he resides eternally. Beyond Shiva Loka, we come to Mahavishnu, Karanodakashaya Vishnu, with innumerable universes that are emanating from the pores of his transcendental body. Here you can see him being served by Rama Devi. Then we come to the Brahmajyoti, the effulgence of the Lord's transcendental body. Penetrating through the Brahmajyoti, we come to the Vaikuntha planets. We're showing 24 planets of the Vaikuntha realm in this model. The Lord, with 4 arms, is holding the conch, disc, club, and lotus, and the various combinations of those 4 make 24. Then we come to Goloka Vrindavan. Here we can see Radha Madhava, but we'll also be showing the other primary rasas. Krishna with the cowherd boys, Krishna being served, Krishna with Mother Yashoda. So this is an overview of the planetary display to be shown in the main dome of the temple.
So this is the entire view. So I showed you 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. We saw that the elephants are holding the Bhumandala in its place, and beyond where the elephants were, it's dark. The sun rays do not go beyond that place. So if some of you are following NASA, so they have this satellite Voyager sent out in space many decades ago, 40, 50 plus years ago. Voyager has not yet reached that end part beyond which the sun rays do not go. So this is what Arjuna saw within the body of Krishna as the entire universe. Not just 1 or 2 planets within the body of Krishna, the entire universe, where he could see all planets from Anantashesh at the bottom to Brahmaji at the top, and all the demigods and anything and everything that you also saw. Still, universal form is not important. Anybody has any questions, can please post your questions in the chat. And if it is important, I will answer. But you can also explain in the chat about your reaction. What's your feeling? This is exactly how Arjuna saw what you all also saw. All right. So we will continue our discussion. So we laid the foundation to understand what does universal form mean at our last class. So I had this slide on the screen last time, and we will discuss the same point again. That is universe the form of the Lord, or is there a form of the Lord that contains the universe? And what is the difference between Bhagavad Gita's universal form and Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form? So we discussed about revelation versus conception. So the words Virat Rupa and Vishwarupa have been mixed up. So for our simplicity, for our discussion, we will use Bhagavad Gita's universal form words and we will use Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form words so that we can distinguish what we are talking about. So universal form as is described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 is a revelation, is an actual form that that is revealed to Arjuna. As part of the universal form shown to Arjuna, the Kala Rupa was also shown. And universal form described in Srimad Bhagavatam is just a concept. Srimad Bhagavatam universal form is neither real nor eternal. The Bhagavad Gita's form is real, but the Bhagavad Gita's form is still not eternal. So the revelation of Bhagavad Gita's universal form and the conception of the Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form are not the same thing. So one question posted in the chat is whether Arjuna saw only the material universe starting from Garbhodakshay Vishnu or both material and spiritual world, including Goloka Vrindavan. So the universal form is only for a particular universe. And Arjuna only saw the material world universe. Universal form does not contain spiritual world at all. So going back to the comparison between Bhagavad Gita's universal form and Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form. So Bhagavad Gita's universal form is a revelation. Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is just a concept. Revelation means that which is a vision is bestowed upon Arjuna by Lord or upon anyone. Many individuals besides Arjuna did see the universal form. So the universal form of Bhagavad Gita is not that Arjuna sat down in meditation to try to think that the mountains are like the bones of the Lord, or trees are like the hairs of the Lord, or rivers are like veins of the Lord. No, 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 no. Arjuna actually saw the universal form with thousands of heads, thousands of arms, thousands of belly, an actual form. Like a human form, just a ghastly form with so many arms and bellies and fire coming out and with wild teeth, etc. So Krishna gave Arjuna the vision to be able to see the universal form. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita's universal form is a revelation bestowed upon Arjuna by Krishna. Revelation means that which already exists but is now made visible at a particular point in time. Now, conception means it is just a conceptual tool used to enhance one's spiritual focus using material means. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam describes that a yogi should think of mountains as the bones of the Lord, think of trees as hairs of the Lord, think of rivers as veins of the Lord, etc. There are many describers. Means the yogi thinks like this. He is trying to use the material world imagination to move towards spirituality. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is just a concept. Srimad Bhagavatam universal form does not exist. Srila Prabhupada clearly says in Srimad Bhagavatam that Srimad Bhagavatam universal form is not real. In Srimad Bhagavatam 2.5.36, Prabhupada says Kalpita, that it is just imagination. Either way, whether it is you are talking about Bhagavad Gita's universal form or Srimad Bhagavatam universal form, either way, there is no loka in the spiritual world where the universal form of Bhagavad Gita exists eternally. No, it does not exist. The Bhagavad Gita's universal form, although it's a real form, the Bhagavad Gita's universal form is annihilated when the material universe full annihilation happens, not the partial annihilation during the 12-hour night, every night of Brahmaji, that is partial annihilation. No. At that time, the universal form continues to exist, but upon 100-year completion life of Brahmaji, when there is full annihilation, at that time, universal form of material world revealed in Bhagavad Gita is also annihilated. So universal form is a transitional meditational tool which will take the yogi to a higher level of realization. There is no need to worship the universal form. There is no need to know anything about the universal form because you will not go anywhere. Yes, Krishna has said in 9.15 that there are three kinds of people: Ekatvena, Prataktvena, Bahuda, and Vishwatomukam. So Vishwatomukam refers to those who worship the universal form, but it's useless because you are not going anywhere, because the universal form does not exist anywhere in the spiritual world. So Srimad Bhagavatam describes the universe as the form of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam's description is just a concept, while Bhagavad Gita is describing how the universe is contained within the universal form of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita's universal form is a revelation of the actual universe form. And in Bhagavad Gita's universal form, there is also the vision of Kala Rupa, means the form of destruction. The vision of universal form has the effect of changing Arjuna's rasa from Sakya rasa to Sant rasa to Dasya rasa, mainly to he becomes silent, it's Shant rasa, and then Arjuna also gets overwhelmed by fear, which is also one of the secondary rasa. So Bhagavad Gita's universal form is a revelation by God which describes the full universe within the universal form of the Lord. And this universal form, the Bhagavad Gita's universal form, the full universal form also includes the Kala Rupa. So everything that happens in the material world is within this realm of space and time. The universal form of Bhagavad Gita explains how all of space is included within the Supreme Lord. But it is not just space, but time is also included. Time is defined in Bhagavad Gita as God. Time is an energy of God. There are 5 primary subject matters described in Bhagavad Gita. One of the 5 primary subject matters is time. So the 5 primary subjects are Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. So one of the 5 item is time. In Bhagavad Gita, there are only 3 verses which describe time, where Krishna says, Krishna is time. The 3 verses about time are 10.30, 10.33, and 11.32. So in the revelation of Bhagavad Gita's universal form, Arjuna asked the universal form. There was actually a conversation between Arjuna and the universal form. That who are you? Arjuna asked the universal form, who are you? Because Arjuna does not recognize who is this. Arjuna cannot recognize the universal form as the Lord because Arjuna has never seen. And when Arjuna asked this question, who are you, to the universal form, Krishna as the universal form responds, time I am, and I have come here to destroy everyone. So when Arjuna asks the universal form, who are you? Krishna does not respond, I am universal form. Rather, Krishna says, I am Kal, I am time. So upon Arjuna's request, Krishna revealed the universal form, and after Krishna revealed, why did Arjuna forget? When the universal form was revealed, now I explain this image also, which is there on the screen. Last time I described that although this is the most widely used image of the universal form, that Krishna and Arjuna are sitting on the chariot and in the background there is universal form and Krishna is pointing to the universal form. This is not how the universal form was manifested. Rather, Krishna's Shyam Sundar form transformed into the universal form, and therefore Arjuna could not see Krishna's Shyam Sundar form at all. Arjuna could only see the universal form, and therefore Arjuna is asking the question directly to universal form, who are you? Because Arjuna has never seen this form and Arjuna cannot recognize. Arjuna did not ask Krishna, saying, Krishna, who is this? Pointing to the universal form. No, the Shyam Sundar form of Krishna at that point became invisible to Arjuna because the Shyam Sundar form transformed into the universal form. And then Arjuna will go on to say that please end this universal form. And then universal form will first transform into the four-handed Vishnu form and then will transform back into the two-handed Shyam Sundar form. So this is the standard Arjuna has set, and this was the reason for Arjuna to ask Krishna to reveal the universal form, that in future somebody comes and says, I am God, well then show me the universal form. Show me the four-handed Vishnu form. Then you are God. Otherwise you are not God. Arjuna has set a standard for future. So Arjuna was completely bewildered when he saw the universal form. Now bewilderment is not caused by seeing the pervasiveness of space. Rather, the bewilderment was caused by the destructive agency of time, which caused the bewilderment. And I also last time described about the concepts that Srimad Bhagavatam describes. In Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.39 describes that one should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just so that ordinary, just as ordinary people create thousands of manifestations in their dreams. So the point is that one should concentrate on the Lord. And how does one concentrate on the Lord? In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna has also taught us this. He asked in chapter 10, verse number 17 and 18. Arjuna asked that, what are the forms through which I can meditate upon you? In response, Krishna describes the Vibhuti Yoga. That use the Vibhuti Yoga means the beautiful manifestations in the material world. Use it to remember Krishna because they are all manifestations coming from a tiny spark of Krishna, and you relate it back to the whole Krishna. This makes the Vibhuti as Vibhuti Yoga. So the Bhagavad Gita's universal form is Achinta Bhed Abhed Tattva, means simultaneous, one and different from the Lord. So the universal form of the Lord exists simultaneously to Krishna's original Shyam Sundar form as well. This is known as Achinta Bhed Abhed Tattva, means simultaneous, oneness and different. So Srimad Bhagavatam progresses in a manner that Suta Goswami asked a question about Graheshu Grahamedi, means those who are materialistic people, that people are not able to see the Atma Tattva or the soul because they are materially inquisitive. Yes, they are inquisitive, but they are materially inquisitive. For such materially inquisitive people, to get them to move towards spiritual inquisitiveness, in Srimad Bhagavatam, the universal form concept is described, where to imagine big, big things in the material world as if they are parts of the body of the Lord. That as if the big, big mountains are like the bones of the body of the Lord, or the rivers are like the veins of the body of the Lord, or the trees are like the hairs of the body of the Lord. So people in material world, by default, they are materially conscious. Material consciousness takes people away from Krishna. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam describes how within the material world one can still try to become spiritually conscious by using their imagination, their material world imagination, and move towards spiritual. Therefore, in the material world, people think of greatness in terms of bigness. And this is material consciousness. People who have such material consciousness that big things are great things, to be able for them to see and know God, therefore Srimad Bhagavatam uses this concept that these people can imagine that big rivers are like the veins of the body of the Lord. Trees are like the hairs of the Lord. Or mountains are like the bones of the body of the Lord. This way, Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is just a concept and is just a transitional stage so that the person can move from material consciousness towards spiritual consciousness. So Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is impersonal, while the Bhagavad Gita's universal form is personal because Arjuna is actually having a conversation with the Bhagavad Gita's universal form. And Arjuna will go on to say that let this ghastly form end because everybody in the material world is disturbed, and please show me your Saumya Rupa. So while the universal form of Srimad Bhagavatam is not talking to anyone, it's just a concept that the yogi can use his imagination to move from material consciousness towards spirituality. So one should not get stuck to this form, meaning Bhagavatam universal form is just a concept. But even the Bhagavad Gita's universal form, don't get stuck thinking that this form is the highest. No, this is not the highest form. And Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is just a concept. It is just imaginary. It is kalpita. Either way, don't get stuck on this form. Universal form is not important at all. So I have this visual on the screen, and I will play this slide again that I played last time also. That is universe the form of the Lord? Or is there a form of the Lord that contains the universe? So yes, Bhagavad Gita's universal form is an actual form which contains the entire material universe within the form. And I described at great length the difference between Bhagavad Gita's universal form and Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form. The Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is just a concept where they use the big things in the material world, like the big mountains, to describe as if they are part of the Lord's body. So Bhagavad Gita's universal form is a revelation and is a real form that contains the entire universe. Therefore, Arjuna saw at the bottom the divine serpent Ananta Shesh holding the universe, and Arjuna also saw Brahmaji at the top. Bhagavad Gita's universal form is real but is not eternal, meaning there is no loka in the spiritual world where the Bhagavad Gita's universal form exists eternally. No, Bhagavad Gita's universal form is annihilated upon full annihilation of material universes. Universal form is visible only when the Lord reveals to you. So if some Babaji, specifically in India, tells you that they will show you God in 2, 3, 6 months or whatever time frame, run very far away from him because he's a bogus spiritualist. He's just trying to run a business in the name of spirituality. And then compared is Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is neither real nor eternal. Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is kalpita, is imagination. It's described in 2.5.36. Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is a conceptualization. It's described in 2.1.25. That Srimad Bhagavatam's universal form is a tool to enhance any person's spiritual focus by material imagination. Therefore, I have the image of imagination on the screen. Therefore, person should think that Patal is like the Lord's lotus feet, rivers are like his veins, mountains are like the Lord's bones of his body. And this is why the chapter is rightly titled in Srimad Bhagavatam, First Step in God Realization. If you have not already taken a snapshot of what you have on the screen, please take a snapshot. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations. All right. So Krishna revealed the universal form differently at different times. Say what was revealed to Mother Yashoda, to Duryodhan, to Arjuna. They were all different. To Mother Yashoda, the universal form is shown inside her mouth. Not her mouth, sorry, inside Krishna's mouth. To Duryodhan, Krishna shows that the various demigods are already within his body, coming from his body. And that's all was shown to Duryodhan. Duryodhan does not see himself in the Vishwarupa. To Arjuna, Krishna shows the whole universe and he also shows the Kala Rupa. So this Kala Rupa was not shown to Mother Yashoda, neither it was shown to Duryodhan. So to Arjuna, Krishna showed the Kala Rupa and also the battlefield and all the people getting killed on the battlefield. To Mother Yashoda, she sees herself and Krishna within the universal form, but Arjuna did not see him. So all times they are different. Even the universal form shown to Duryodhan when Krishna went as Shantidut, that universal form was also manifested differently. So in Bhagavad Gita's universal form, Acharyas have explained that Arjuna was no longer able to see Krishna's Shyam Sundar form, what I showed on the visual, on the image, the most common image. Therefore, Arjuna goes on to ask the universal form, who are you? If Arjuna would have been able to see the Shyam Sundar form of Krishna, then Arjuna would have asked Krishna, the Shyam Sundar form of Krishna, that pointing to universal form and saying, who is this? No, that's not how it happened. Arjuna simply saw the universal form. Krishna Shyam Sundar form was not visible, and Arjuna does not recognize the universal form as the form of Krishna. Therefore, Arjuna is asking the universal form directly, who are you? And the universal form responds, time I am. I have come here to destroy everyone. At this point, I will answer the various inquiries submitted by all you devotees. Question number 1. If somebody has any follow-up, you please raise your hand and then I will let you unmute. Question number 1. I like to know and see the gentle human-like blissful two-armed form of Krishna. So Krishna will explain in this Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 verse number 54 that only by undivided devotional service one can see Krishna as Krishna is standing in front of Arjuna. And Krishna will also state in 11.53 that by study of Vedas, by undergoing penances, by charity, by all these means, one cannot see Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain in 11.55 as the sum and substance verse of Bhagavad Gita, that the sum and substance of Bhagavad Gita is to do devotional services. So let's read, Nishan Prabhu will read chapter 11, verse number 53, 54, 55 translations, plus 55 purport. You can read initial few lines.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 53. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Text 54. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Text 55. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, he who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So, Prabhuji, can I continue the 55 purport?
Yeah, few lines in purport, 55.
Anyone who wants to approach the supreme of all the personalities of Godhead on the Krishna Loka planet in the spiritual sky and be intimately connected with the supreme personality, Krishna must take this formula as is by the supreme himself. Therefore, this verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The
Right, so
Bhagavad Gita is a book directed to the
right, so 11.55 is the sum and substance or the essence of Bhagavad Gita. That if you want to see the two-handed Shyam Sundar form of Krishna, or even if you want to see universal form, or even if you want to see the four-handed Vishnu form, doing devotional service is the way to get the vision to be able to see Krishna. All right. Question number 2. I would love to know more about the universal form of Krishna and the qualification one has to have to experience the universal form of the Lord. So we have discussed at great length that universal form is not important for a devotee because one cannot have loving reciprocation with the universal form. And there is no loka in the spiritual world where the universal form eternally exists. Universal form of Bhagavad Gita annihilates when material universes are annihilated upon full annihilation. Therefore, aspire for seeing the Shyam Sundar form of Krishna or the four-handed Vishnu form depending on your rasa. And we already read 11.53, 54, 55, as well as in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11, the last section 7, which is verses 47 to 55. The title of the last section 7 is Pure Devotion Alone Grants All Visions, whether of universal form or of the four-handed Vishnu form or of the two-handed Shyam Sundar form. Does that answer the inquiry? Question number 3. As of now, I am not sure whether I should know all the details about Krishna's universal form. After reading just the translations of chapter 11, it's really so heavy for me and little scary too. As of now, my focus goes to the Shyam Sundar form and the lovable Laddu Gopal form of Krishna. Very good. Don't worry about the universal form. Universal form is not important for a devotee. You please continue to focus on doing devotional service to Krishna's Saumya Rupa. I have described significantly more just so that you can take ownership of this philosophy. And if somebody asks you tomorrow about the universal form, you should be able to answer. But otherwise, for you all also from this point on, universal form is not important. Question number 4. I am confused regarding the description of Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 3, Chapter 28, verses 13 to 33. So these are the verses I gave you earlier to meditate upon. So confusion is that 3.28.13 to 33 describes the form of the Lord. And the devotee is confused. Is that the universal form? In Bhagavad Gita, the description of the universal form represents an overwhelming and powerful form, while the description of Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.13 to 33 is somewhat more personable and graceful. Which one is the true universal form of the Lord? Also, is the description given in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 the complete universal form of the Lord? So, I have on the screen what this devotee who asked question number 4 had the confusion. So, here are the verses from Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 that describe the universal form of the Lord. And then here are the verses from Canto 3, chapter 28, verses 13 to 33, which are very nice, beautiful Saumya Rupa description. So the devotee is confused. Which is which? So the devotee, I would actually appreciate the devotee's endeavor. This is super excellent reading with rapt attention. Therefore, you got this inquiry. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 description is of the universal form of the Lord, which is a temporary form as long as the material universe exists. While Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, chapter 28, verses 13 to 33 describe Krishna's Shyam Sundar form. So I describe Achinta Bhed Aved Tattva. Both these forms, meaning the universal form, as well as Krishna's Saumya Rupa Shyam Sundar form, exist simultaneously. Both are different forms, but they exist simultaneously. Krishna's Shyam Sundar form is the highest. I had shown you visuals also for this today. That from Krishna comes Balram, from Balram, the first quadruple, then Shankarshan, then the second quadruple, then Narayan, all that, everything comes from Krishna. Krishna Shyam Sundar form is the highest, and all incarnations such as Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Paramatma, Vishnu, universal form, and many of incarnations come from Krishna. So this is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.28. We will read this right now. So 1.3.28 is obviously a very important and a key memorization verse. I have it on screen. Ete cha amsho kalo pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. Megha, can you please read the translation from the screen from 1.3.28?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists.
Right? So Krishna is the original. Shyam Sundar two-handed form is Krishna's original form, and all incarnations come from Krishna. Monarch Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a question for Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.27 regarding that Krishna's carrying Sudarshan Chakra. So, Prabhu, my question is in all the ISKCON temple, we can see that Krishna with two-ended form, like there is no Sudarshan Chakra. What is the difference between these two forms?
Yeah, so if you go to ISKCON Toronto also, you will find the Sudarshan Chakra besides Lord Jagannath. So I can bring up on screen. Let me see if I have Lord Jagannath's visual. I should. And besides Lord Jagannath is where the Sudarshan Chakra is standing. So yes, Krishna is always holding the flute, and besides Lord Jagannath is when you have the Sudarshan Chakra. Let me bring up the image. I'm looking for it right now. So this is Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maharani from the Toronto temple. So you see this little, right now it's only because of the decoration, it's covered. This tall standing structure, which right now is seen with little squares at the back, this is the Sudarshan Chakra. Next time you go, and you will see that on top of this structure, there is actually a round disc also. Let me see if I have some other image without the decoration. Could be hard to find right now, but that's where the Sudarshan Chakra is placed. Monarch Prabhu, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhu. Got it. Thank you.
Let me see a lot of images. So searching through the images itself is a task in itself. I right now cannot find the image without the decoration. Right now in the decoration, yes, it's covered. Okay, I cannot find the image right now. But next time you go, you'll be able to see the Sudarshan Chakra on Jagannath altar. All right. So question number 5. How can we see universal form? When and how Krishna will give us mercy to see universal form? Why universal form is not so beautiful as human-like form of Lord Krishna? So we already discussed and read 11.53 to 55, which describes that pure devotional service is the only way to see the universal form, or to see the four-ended Vishnu form, or to see Krishna's Shyam Sundar form. I will again repeat, although I have said almost umpteen times, that universal form is not important. Therefore, aspire to see Krishna's Shyam Sundar form, or aspire to see Krishna's four-ended Vishnu form, depending on your rasa. Universal form has the required destructive feature for destruction in the material world. Therefore, it is a fact that universal form is ghastly. Does that answer the inquiry? Question number 6. What was the first form of Lord? Shyam Sundar form or the universal form? So I already described with a visual to you that Krishna's Shyam Sundar form, the two-handed Saumya Rupa, is Krishna's original form, and all incarnations come from this two-handed Shyam Sundar form of Krishna. Question number 7. What is universal form? Why universal form is shown? Who sees universal form? What are the key aspects of universal form and understanding the vision? So we have discussed all of this at great length. Simultaneously, one devotee, as part of what the devotee knows about the universal form, what the devotee has written is essentially the answer to this question number 7. So I have this on the screen, which is highlighted in green, which is from a different slide, which says, what do you know about the universal form? So I will let Deepa read what is on screen highlighted and the green as the answer to question number 7.
Upon the request of Arjuna, Lord Krishna gave his darshan by giving special vision to Arjun so that Arjun could see the universal form of Krishna. Lord Krishna exhibits his Virat Swarup for the asuras who do not recognize the power and authority of Krishna. Universal form was manifested for the benefit of the unintelligent class of men who accept anyone and everyone as the incarnation of the Lord. Universal form was exhibited so that atheists and asuras would realize Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead and would make an effort to go back home, back to Godhead.
Right. So
Hare
the
Krishna,
point,
Prabhuji.
very good. So the point about atheists, that atheists to realize, Pratyush Prabhu has also highlighted the same point last time, that yes, the universal form was revealed as one of the reasons to get everybody towards spirituality, including atheists. Does that answer all the inquiries so far? Okay, question number 8. I'm not sure what I will do by knowing more about the universal form. I am more interested in the Shyam Sundar form. Very good. Universal form is not important. Continue to aspire and serve Krishna's Shyam Sundar form. I have described significantly lot more about the universal form just so that you can have ownership of this Bhagavad Gita philosophy, that tomorrow someone asks you a question about the universal form, then you should be able to answer. Otherwise, universal form is not important. Question number 9. Why did Krishna wait till chapter 11 to show his universal form? How did Arjuna feel when he saw the universal form? Was he in awe or terrified? So in Bhagavad Gita, there is a development of thought. Initially in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is being a teacher of mind and sense control. And then Krishna teaches Karma Kanda, then Nishkam Karma Yoga, and then Bhakti Yoga. Krishna did not say Bhagavad Gita in one sentence, that drop everything and do Bhakti Yoga. No. Rather, Krishna came down to Arjuna's bodily attachment level so that Arjuna comes out of bodily attachment naturally by Krishna explaining his first instruction in 2.13 that you are not this body, rather you are a soul. Krishna revealed the universal form upon the request of Arjuna because Krishna said that Krishna pervades all of existence. Hence, Arjuna wanted to see how Krishna pervades all of existence. And because Arjuna wants to set a standard that in future someone claims that he is God, then he should be able to show the universal form. So this point about Krishna pervades everything, it's there in one of the verse, should be 9.456 somewhere. Pashyame yogam aishwaryam. So there Krishna is describing that I pervade all of existence. And the same line, Pashyame yogam aishwaryam, comes again in 11.8. It should be 11.8 somewhere. There Krishna says, now see Pashyame yogam aishwaryam. First was description, now is actually seeing. So we read in one of the purport that Srila Prabhupada says that universal form display is godless display of opulences. Because devotee is not interested and neither is God himself. And the last part of the question about Arjuna's reaction, that in chapter 11, verse 20 onwards, describes the effect of universal form, that demigods in higher planets are disturbed, and Arjuna is first awestruck, and then Arjuna is also disturbed. Does that answer the inquiry? Question number 10. Would like to know the management and mechanism of maintaining the entire universe. So Krishna will explain in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 3 and 4, that material world is very complex. And do not try to understand the material world. Rather, focus on how to get out of material world. The way to get out of material world is by being detached and by being determined on the path of devotional service. So the analogy described in chapter 15 for this is that a prisoner cannot end the entire prison house. Rather, prisoner can end his own prison sentence by good behavior. So don't worry about wanting to know the mechanism because it is very complex. Our brains are not built to understand all of this. Just try to get out of this material world by detachment and determinations. Question number 11. As a human being, do we have any role to be part of management of this mechanism to ensure smooth operations of all activities in this world? If yes, I want to know the details of duties and responsibilities for the same. So scriptures have required qualifications for becoming various demigods. For example, if a soul lives 100 lives without committing a single sin, then such a soul is shortlisted to be interviewed for the post of Brahmaji. Again, it's just shortlisted. Still, he has to go through interview process. Krishna interviews. And when the soul becomes Brahmaji, is still subject to Krishna appointing this shortlisted soul as Brahmaji. Now, when I say without committing a single sin, is also not killing any insect under your feet, whether or not you are able to see the insect. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2 and Canto 3 describes that those who are at Brahmaloka, but they have not fully purified themselves to go back to Godhead, such souls end up becoming demigods. Now, more importantly, for your inquiry, your desire to become demigod is faulty because you will continue to be in the material world at the Jiva Tattva level. So all places in material world, including abodes of demigods, are subject to the four miseries of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi: birth, death, old age, and disease. So we have discussed and read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, verse number 12, as part of demigod discussion, that demigods are at Sakam level, and Sakam level is much lower on the yoga ladder. Therefore, you do not aspire to know the mechanism of material world. Do not aspire to become a demigod. Rather, aspire for pure devotional service. Aspire for purification so that you can go back home to Godhead. Our brains do not have the capacity to know everything about the material world. This universe is the least complex universe from all the infinite universes. And within this smallest, least complex universe, we don't even know everything about this one earth that we live on. What to speak of our universe and what to speak of other universes. Therefore, do not aspire to know anything about the management and mechanism of universe. Do not aspire for wanting to be demigod. Rather, aspire for purification and aspire for pure devotional service. Question number 12. Can it be possible to know the details of unexplored planets? So all universes are made on similar principles. The 4 items of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi are common across all the infinite universes. All universes manifest and annihilate at the same time. All universes have life forms, but they are variegated life forms. Example, on Earth, water is essential, while those living entities living on Sun planet have bodies made out of fire, hence they can survive on Sun planet. What NASA or few movies calls as aliens, they are not aliens. They are just different shaped bodies according to the requirement for their respective planets. Question number 13. I would like to learn. I don't know what I don't know, so I cannot frame any question. My mind is open to absorb the new learnings about Sri Krishna's universal form. So this is the most appropriate way to ask a question because we have not seen spiritual world. Therefore, it is difficult to ask a question what we have not seen. So this question, which is asked in question number 13, is taught by Vidura in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. And few devotees who asked the same open-ended question to my spiritual master, His Grace Vaishnav Das Adhikari, during his last visit to Toronto. So in terms of wanting to know about universal form, I have described significantly more about the universal form than what is there in Bhagavad Gita. Question number 14. I would like to know more about why Arjuna could not handle Krishna's Vishwarupa for a longer period of time. So universal form is ghastly, and as a pure devotee, only reciprocation for Arjuna with the universal form was to offer obeisances. So a pure devotee is interested in reciprocation with loving Saumya Rupa. So it's not that Arjuna could not handle, it's like there's no reciprocation and this is ghastly, it's disturbing so many people in the material world. So let the universal form visual be gone and please show me your Saumya Rupa so that I can reciprocate. Question number 15. I just feel that why do wrong things happen in the material world when Lord Sri Krishna is himself present inside all of us as super soul? So we have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, that Krishna is not responsible for individual souls' good and bad karma. Rather, the individual soul is himself responsible for his good and bad reactions. So all of us have been in front of Krishna, and Krishna told all of us, don't go to the material world because material world is a place of misery. But I was adamant. I myself told Krishna, no, I want to go to the material world. Well, then Krishna says, okay, go, but you will then have to face the consequences of this decision. And Krishna does not interfere with our free will, hence we are in the material world. And as is stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.23, Krishna is present as Super Soul for sanctioning and observing our activities. Question number 16. Where does universal form fall in the energetical hierarchy of the forms taken by the Lord? Universal form is one of the avatars, one of the incarnations of the Lord. Question number 17. My favorite, the Vishwarupa shown to Mother Yashoda, and now I find that there are 9 times Krishna showed different forms. Virat Rupam is beyond my comprehension and is scary to even imagine. I would like to know what Krishna wishes I should know, and I am eager to find that out. So, what Krishna wants us to do, we have already discussed at the end of chapter 6. The 3 relevant verses are Bhagavad Gita 5.29, 5.11, and 6.47. So I had given you the essence of first 6 chapters in one sentence with these 3 lines, and I will repeat right now. That per 5.29, understand Krishna as Bhoktaram in truth. Per 5.11, work in the material world only for purification and not for sense gratification, so that you can come to 6.47 of fixing mind on Krishna and becoming the best yogi. We read today also that Bhagavad Gita 11.55, Srila Prabhupada says, is the sum and substance of Bhagavad Gita, that doing devotional service to Krishna is the sum and substance of Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna says the same point in Bhagavad Gita 9.33, that having come to this miserable material world, engage in my devotional service. Sumnima will read 9.33 translation.
Hare Krishna. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotee and the saintly king. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Hare Krishna.
Very good. In essence of time, I will try to answer a couple more questions and we'll wrap up in a few minutes. Does universal form only cover material world or both material and spiritual world? So I already answered that universal form covers only material world and not spiritual world. Number 19. Since after the lecture, I learned that a devotee should not be interested in seeing the universal form. However, I still have the desire to witness and see the greatness and powerful and strong form of Krishna, because we are in this material world. And just like when we see some beautiful mountains or natural beauty, we get awestruck. Just like that, I would love to see the one who actually created all beautiful things in this universe. Again, do not aspire to see the universal form. I have described at great length that Krishna's original Shyam Sundar form is from where everything emanates. So aspire for pure devotional service and aspire to see Krishna's original Shyam Sundar form. Those are all the inquiries, and from here are what devotees said that they knew about the universal form, and I will highlight few points which are requiring clarification. So point number 1 is okay. Point number 2 says the universal form of the Lord Krishna is a cosmic display containing everything that exists, material and spiritual, simultaneously. So we discussed at great length that universal form is not the highest form. Universal form only contains material universe, and that too just one material universe. Each universe has its own universal form. Universe form does not contain spiritual world. Therefore, this point is incorrect, and therefore I have crossed out. Point number 3, universal form of the Lord has all the manifestations of Krishna in one form, with many hands and with all of the opulences. Again, this is incorrect. We discussed and we saw visuals, and as is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.28, that all incarnations come from Krishna, and that Krishna's Shyam Sundar form is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna's original Shyam Sundar form includes all incarnations. Universal form does not include any other incarnation. And therefore, I have crossed out point number 3 also, that this is also incorrect. Rest of the points on the screen are correct, and we read point number 6, which is highlighted in green as the answer to one of the earlier questions. So please take a snapshot of what you have. These are some good points to read. Next is point number 7. I again have highlighted in yellow. It says, I have known that Lord Shri Krishna shows his universal form rarely. For instance, he showed his universal form to Arjuna at the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So we have discussed at great length that universal form was shown at least 9 times that we know of, not just one time. So rest of the points are correct. You can take a snapshot of what you have and read at your convenience. This is slide number 2. Slide number 3, you can take a snapshot. They are all correct points. These are devotee has done a very good job of taking the points from Bhagavad Gita chapter 11. Slide number 4 is again continuation and good points. Take a snapshot. All are good points from the chapter. Point number 31 on slide 5 says, the universal form that I know is that photo when Krishna showed the universal roop in the battlefield to Arjuna, and also it shows that all the demigods and everything is within him. So it's referring to this image that I had shown you earlier. That's what the devotee is referring, that Krishna and Arjuna are sitting on the chariot, and in the background is the universal form. So we discussed at great length that this is not how the universal form was manifested. Therefore, this point is also incorrect. Actually, Krishna's Shyam Sundar form got transformed into universal form. Take a snapshot. This was the last slide. We are just past 11:45 a.m. here in Toronto. Any questions, comments, realizations? All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm pretty sure you have a lot to absorb from today's discussion. we will stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.